Hey, what's up guys? Mizzy here back again with another video, and today I am going to be sharing my settings as a Rampart main, as well as a player who plays a small handful of legends pretty consistently, so these can be applied to multiple legends at once, and I really feel like I've found the settings that truly made me a better player overall compared to previous settings that I've tried in the past. So I'm going to be delving into multiple settings that I've tried out, as well as why I have finally resided on what I am now. So I'm going to get right into it. So please leave a like, pop a sub, comment down below, all of that jazz. I know you guys have been requesting this one for quite some time, especially in my recent Rampart guide video. So I really appreciate you guys being patient. And if you hear my dogs in the background, you hear them in the background. So here we go. Let's get right into it. So here are my settings. We're going to be going into this first. So I'm just going to scroll down. I'm not going to go over all of them, but damage numbers, I think stacking is by far the best, and keeping crosshair damage feedback off is huge in my opinion as well as having this on faded. I recently switched this over. I don't know why I was on default for so long, but I like the faded a lot more because now my teammates' pings as well as my own don't block my vision as much, so I highly suggest that one as well. And then another must, I would say jetpack control should be on hold without a doubt. For Valkyrie if you are a Valkyrie main. Incoming damage feedback 3D, it's by far the easiest to tell where damage is coming from. Turn this off immediately. Do not keep this on. Taking damage closes death box or crafting menu. Armor swapping and doing things in storm and going into boxes while you're in the storm, I call it the storm, the circle, whatever, is a must. This will get you killed if you keep this on. If you want to be good at Apex Legends and play at a high level, turn this off. Now, by all means, I am not a high-level player, but this needs to be off. This is a non-negotiable. Now, I'm going to keep going down. All of these are pretty much on default. Feel free to pause at any time. I'm going to go all the way up again just so you guys can take screenshots, pause, whatever you need to do. Now, this is probably what you guys are here for. We'll go into the button layout. Now, I'm going to go over here. So I play on default because I have two paddles. Now, I installed two paddles on my controller. I can teach you guys how to do that. I can literally make a video. I actually need to make a new controller because it's just fun. But I have the left paddle bound to jump, which is my X. And then I have the right paddle bound to crouch, which is the circle. So I play on default, but I'd say bumper jumper is probably the next best if you don't play with paddles or claw. Or evolved is also a solid option too. Now customized, the only things I would ever switch, and this is as a Rampart main, but this can apply to other characters as well, is I have auto sprint on, which I also think is a must in my opinion, but I switched the X to sprint and toggle zoom, and then I switched my extra character action to the left click. Now this is if I wasn't playing with paddles. I still use down as the character action. I learned the game as that, so I just stick to that, but that's not very practical as a Rampart main if you want to break down your walls very quickly. I highly suggest you do this button switch if you're not playing with paddles and if you're not playing with claw. Do this immediately. It'll improve your life a ton. But you can't teach a dog, an old dog, new tricks, so that's why I stick to default. It's just the easiest for me at this point. Stick layout default, tap to use and reload. I think this is huge as well. I don't want to hold anything. I just want to tap to do everything. Crouch button, toggle. Now, like I said, you can't teach an old dog new tricks, but I honestly believe hold is much better, especially for bunny hopping, because toggle just makes that overly hard in my opinion. So I would do hold. If you're already used to toggle, it's okay. I'm still stuck on that as well. Aim button, hold. Who the hell would ever play on toggle? Survival slot button on. You can turn that off so that you have to access it through your menu so you can twirl your heirlooms and stuff. But I don't think it's worth it. It's much easier to have it on. Dead zones, none. I always try to keep dead zones as low as possible so I can be more accurate. Here's my menu cursor speed. I try to keep it as high as possible. I've been slowly raising it over time, but you don't want a slow menu cursor speed in most instances because you want to be quickly armor swap, so keep that in mind. Now here, I'm not going to go into the advanced look controls just yet. We're going to turn those off. I started out this game as a 5-3 default classic player. Now, I liked this sense, but I eventually switched to 4-3 because I saw most pros play on 4-3 classic. Now, a lot of pros nowadays are switching to 4-3 linear instead. Now, when I was playing on classic, I would not suggest 5-3 classic. I suggest 4-3 classic is a very safe bet for you to start from. I loved this sense. Your aim assist, if you're obviously you're playing on controller, your aim assist is so sticky, especially medium to close range. It's insane. Hipfire is immaculate. Mwah, chef's kiss on 4-3 classic. I played on this forever, but there eventually comes a point where your skill ceiling and your skill becomes so high that 4-3 classic doesn't feel precise enough in certain instances, and it can kind of be frustrating at times. Now, it's still great. I think you can stick with this for forever into the sunset. So I highly suggest 4-3 classic as just learning the game. If you're newer to the game, if you're looking for just a solid sense overall, it's boring, but 4-3 classic is solid. I would highly suggest it. Now, response curves, don't mess with steady, don't mess with fine aim, don't mess with high. It's linear or bust, in my opinion. If you want to do linear, it's very jarring after going 4-3 classic. I switched to 4-3 linear, and it was too much to switch, but I wanted the more instantaneous aim or adjustments, and so I did look dead zone on small 4-3 linear. Now, this feels really good. Once you reach that point where you're like, I don't feel like this is responsive enough, like the aim assist is sticky, it's great on 4-3 classic, but I need more responsiveness, more minute aim changes, then do this. 4-3 linear small is great, and then you could switch it to none when you get more adjusted. But if you're on classic, turn off the dead zone. You want none. There's already some dead zone built in with 4-3 classic. Now, I know that was super long-winded. Now, movement dead zone, I have small, vibration off so it doesn't mess with your things. Now, these are the holy grail of settings, in my opinion. These have been trial and error forever, and this is what I'm basically going to play on for the rest of my time playing this game, unless I find something else, but I'm not looking for anything else. Now, dead zone, it doesn't matter. It's up to your controller, but my controller has a little bit of stick drift. Every controller you play with is going to have a little bit. And 4, just move that down until you have very minimal to no stick drift, and you're good to go. Outer threshold 1, response curve 0, baby. Now, per octopix, I have off. It doesn't matter to me. Now, yaw speed 350, pitch speed 350, turning extra yaw is at 250. Now, turning extra pitch is 250. 0, 0. ADS yaw speed is 140. 140 for ADS pitch speed as well. And then zeros across this board. And then I have target compensation on, melee on, target compensation style is default. Now, here is a verbal explanation of these settings. You have incredibly snappy and fast turning speed. However, when you're aiming down sights, you have precision at the same time. You're not losing precision. And honestly, when you're aiming down sights, the aim assist is incredibly sticky on 140, 140. I don't know what it is. Maybe I'm imagining it. But man, 140, 140 is, ooh wee baby. It's so good. And like I said, it's incredibly snappy. And because you're playing on ALC, you don't feel like kind of the slowness or the slowness in reaction whenever you're moving around. This just feels crisp. It feels satisfying. And if you're wanting to be a little bit more flashy with your movement, this is the way to do it. You will have to adjust to doing hipfire, and I still am to this day. My hipfire is not at all as good as it was on 4-3 Classic, but me as a player, when it comes to movement and aiming down sight and all of that jazz, these have completely changed the game for me. I promise you, if you stick with them, these will click with most of you, if not all of you. But if it doesn't click with you, don't worry. Like I said, I gave you some options. If these ALCs don't work, play 4-3 Classic. Try that out. Maybe you don't like 4-3 Classic. Try linear with small dead zone, and once you get used to the small dead zone, then do none. But yeah, those are my settings. The video, audio don't really matter. I play on a 90 field of view. I know a lot of you play on something higher, but I try to increase my frame rate as much as possible. And so 90 is like a safe spot to where I never suffer any dip in frame rate on a PS5 at least. So keep in mind, I am on PS5. I'm not a sweaty PC player or anything, and I'm not the best player ever, but I do think I'm pretty damn decent at Rampart. So if you're a Rampart main, try out these settings. Let me know what you think, and let me know if they help you out at all. I hope this helped you out at all. Be on the lookout for future Rampart content. I promise I'm going to be there, and take it easy.